What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is the Rapl. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Set. His name is Flix, also known as Kimo. The map is Oasis. And yeah, this is just a random... I think this is just a random Vilby ladder game. I think these guys played a bunch of games, and this is just a hand-selected game out of the games that they played. The reason I'm wanting to cast this game is a very, very greedy purpose. A very selfish purpose, I should say. Not greedy, selfish purpose. I hate this matchup. As Set, this is probably the matchup that I think is the worst for Set. I feel like I can get an advantage some of the time, but most of the time I feel very, very rubbish about this one. As we do see Kimo's Set Priest searching around here for something to convert. He does find a hyena over here. I wonder if he's going to convert that. But we see that he's found the hunt on this position there. The reason why I don't like this matchup as Set, and I have just, I mean... I think that Rapl or Kimo is showing me something here, which is definitely a valid option, is that, the big reason I don't like the matchup is because Zeus has got Bolt. And effectively what that does is that completely removes one of Set's unique abilities to function, which is conversion of animals. And I just want to convert my animals in peace, and it ends up not being the case that I'm allowed to, as we do see that Kimo is going to be able to, he's going to be attempting to convert these. I think that generally speaking, you're never going to get a conversion on these animals. Maybe you'll be able to convert a gazelle if you go for that fast enough, but generally speaking, the villagers can just wander over here and just kill all the animals, and you should be completely fine. As we see the granary coming up, Rapl will see that priest out, and I imagine he's going to bolt this. Well, he's going to come over and shank it. You can just kill the animals. You don't have to shank the priest. But he does decide to come through there. The priest's going to be retreating away. I'm sure the Toskopos is going to come over and try and deal with that. And it looks like an 18 HP priest here. You can just chase it away. And we're going to go back to the drawing board here with this priest conversion and say, yeah, that's not it either. You can't just randomly run around and say that that's the way that it goes. As Kimo's priest gets shanked down, the hyena of Set not going to get shanked down there or shot down there, as the villager misses and has to come back up onto this position. So Rapl deals with the Set shenanigans in the early game here very, very nicely, and Kimo is in a position that I would otherwise normally be in. Which is very, very fun. As also, Rapl just saying in the chat, for those of you on the watching afterwards on YouTube, Rapl did stream these from his perspective, so definitely go and check those out on his Twitch channel. He might even put some up on YouTube, I'm not sure, but it's just the Rapl is his Twitch / his YouTube username, so that'll be fun for you. As Kimo continuing along here in the classical age, I'm interested to see what sort of a strategy he's going for here. A very, very late advance time already. He had a decent amount of hunt in his early, in his main base here. So probably could have hit a more efficient classical age, but maybe advancing later in this matchup, there's probably some merit to it, especially if he's deciding to go for some sort of a one town center play. We'll have to wait and see what the ideas are going to be here, as Rapl also kind of struggling to advance here. This is surprising. Yes, Rapl did pull off a villager off of food to kind of shank a little bit. So I could imagine him getting a little bit late here, but considering the amount of zebra that spawned, I think it was a 4 zebra spawn, I'm pretty sure you should be able to get at least you should be able to get a perfect 439 here if you want that Jason out with just some efficient build order management, as Rapl's Jason does find the Bridle of Pegasus here. This is a great relic because it gives you a free Pegasus. The only problem with this relic is that the Pegasus cost population. And it's one of those ones where you're like, do I really want the relic or not? Now, you can always eject it and delete the Pegasus later, but obviously in the early game, there's no problems having out a free Pegasus. But once you hit that 145 population, 160 population, you go, do I really need it? 2 population is a lot for that Pegasus. So maybe in the later stages of the game, it's worth deleting it. I will say that in the overhaul patch, I did change this relic so that the Pegasus is free population, which makes it a lot more useful, similar to the golden lions or monkey or the monkeys you get. As Kimo and Rapl both hit the classic legend at roughly the same time, and Kimo is indeed simply just going for a second town center. So, in terms of my own gameplay versus... I told you I'm being very selfish with this game. In terms of my own gameplay versus what Kimo's doing here, I'd say Kimo's a little bit behind where I would normally be in the early game. So, points for me, but Kimo's the expert, so we're learning what he wants to do as we do see an armory coming up on this position. Walls up over here. Does he have 2 monuments? He's only got the 1 monument, so spamming out those Gazelle of Set is going to be a little bit challenging. He does have some berry bushes over here. Armory going to be coming up on that position as well. As Kimo retreats back. Rapl going to be pulling away as well. And Rapl does get himself up the second town center on this position as well here. As he's got himself a decent amount of goats. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him actually just go for... Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for this third town center. This is relatively standard. There's another way to play this against Set, which is very, very, very strong, which is just stay 2 town centers and make pure cavalry. Reason is that the cavalry spam can be very difficult to deal with. We do see some walls coming up here for Kimo. Kimo is probably going to be wanting to shifting sands those heroes into his main base. I mean, I get it, but I don't value that as much, as there's really not all... I mean, this gold mine here is something, as Rapl does indeed spot this one here.
Prostegma.
Is Rapl going to be swinging around onto this position? Kimo getting some more villagers out, finding himself a little bit with a little bit of problems here, as the wall's not quite finished up just yet, so he can't simply just shifting sands this. Is the Odysseus in Chiron? No, Odysseus in Chiron? This isn't quite Chiron. He kind of looks like Chiron. He's got the same model as Chiron, but he's a different he's a different unit. The Odysseus at the center almost get a villager kill, but not quite, as all the villagers jumping up onto wood for the time being here. As we do see that Kimo, he has decided to build some Gazelles of Set, and he's going for a third town center now on this location. This is an interesting option here from Kimo that I haven't yet tried as Set. 3 town centers against a Greek player, especially a Greek player, as a reaction to the 3 town centers that the Zeus player goes for. This to me feels like Kimo is trying to say, you know what? I'm going to attempt to take it to the late game in this game and see what he can do where that's considered. But we'll see if it's going to work. As the Rapl going to retreat back with his Odysseus. Kimo gets up this town center. I still think he's only on 1 monument here. I think... Where's he going with these villagers? I'm not sure what the plan is with this. With the Pharaoh as well? Barracks are coming up. 3 town centers into barracks here for Kimo. This is so absurdly different to anything I've seen with Set thus far. So we'll see how it's going to work. We do see the Odysseus coming through. The centaur coming in Rapl is simply just putting walls up now, which is going to basically put a stop to any sort of aggression that's going to come forward here, as the Centaur coming back in. The Odysseus getting good damage done. One villager here looks like it will be going down. Shifting sands onto this position will pull the Centaur in. The Odysseus actually kind of safe here as well. He can actually retreat out. He's happily going to sit underneath this watchtower and get some damage done. As Kimo's villager here going to go down, it looks like. Did it go down? It did go down. Beautiful play here from Rapl, not overreacting to that shifting sands and just going to sit underneath this watchtower. He could also Alt-S the Odysseus as damage is continuing to come through here. Kimo's now spamming out slingers in this game. As Rapl at this point, he has still not got a single military building down, though he's throwing down some archery ranges. Not the best reaction to what he's seen. Obviously, he's expecting to see spearmen coming out of the barracks, but Kimo's going in with slingers. Obviously, you want to be making hoplites or Hippocon against those slingers to deal with that, as the Odysseus finally going to be getting shanked down here. And we do see the game is going to continue along as Kimo, he's got himself the farms up, he's got himself Shadoof, he's got himself Plow, so opting into a more, this is definitely opting into a more late game centric game strategy here for Set. This is something that I argue is just not possible to win against Zeus. So we'll see if that's going to be the case in this game or how it's all going to go. As Rapl is throwing up double walls. He's given the Kimo wall treatment to Kimo himself. We call these Kimo walls because back in I can't remember how many years ago, but there was a game, I think Matrius versus Kimo, Poseidon versus Ra, where Kimo put like 3 layers of walls to protect his trade route, and this is basically what it looks like. As the units are going to try and break through here, Kimo, 114 of 145 population. Rapl on the other side here. Houses going down. Does he have an armory up? He does, so he wants to go to the next age. I'm not 100% sure what the next age is going to give Rapl. I think if Rapl just produced some units here, he would be in a really, really good position here. As the gate going to be going down. Rapl pulling back and seeing what he can do. As Rapl now going up through Apollo. Apollo always going to be the god of choice in these sorts of games, as Paul's coming up here to try and protect down this position, as Kimo's going to try and find some sort of advantage here with this army. The question is, will there be any advantage is the big one, because this town center here, what Rapl can do is he can garrison these units into the town center to get bonus damage done. Also, obviously, the Toxotes shooting from behind the walls here is also going to get some good damage done. Good micro there from Kimo to pull back. Do we see any buildings coming up just yet? No buildings, no military buildings here for Rapl. Rapl, does he have ceasefire? He does have ceasefire, so he can actually, and this is a great idea, he could just go straight to the Mythic Age. Idea being, wait as long as he can to click that ceasefire, attempt to continue these very, very minute defenses in this game that he's going for, and he'll go to the Mythic Age and is going to have access to Bellerophon, which can basically solo this army. That's a bit of a hyperbole, but it's a huge, huge difficulty for Kimo where that's concerned. You could also just go through Hera here, Lightning Storm the army, and have a fantastic advantage here. Meanwhile, Ancestors, Nephthys coming through here for Kimo, as the walls are going to get broken down on this position as well. As the Manticore moving forward, to be able to take out a handful of units from afar. Has to take out that Pharaoh. The Pharaoh is the difficult unit. If he picks off the Pharaoh, this Manticore can also basically solo this this Egyptian army. It's so very, very weak. Look at the HP. 78 HP on those medium slingers. The Manticore doing splash damage here, doing 15 pierce with 6 projectiles. Does a lot of damage to those units here if they bunch up, especially if you can get out another one. As Rapl at this point, he's already clicked up through Hephaestus, a very, very solid approach. This army of Kimo really hasn't done a whole lot, but what it has done, and this is the big thing, is it gets Kimo a solid position on the map so that he can put a forward siege works down, forward Migdol stronghold down, and he can start putting pressure onto Rapl. But Rapple's already clicked up to the Mythic Age. Kimo, on the other hand here, taking a look at his upgrades, he doesn't yet well, he's getting irrigation. He does have some decent economic upgrades in Bowsaw and Shaft Mine, so I imagine he's going to rush out the Carpenters as well. So he's going to have a ton of wood income. As Rapl pushing forward right now, he's got himself the Heracles, the Odysseus, the Jason, going to attempt to take down the Scorpion Man on this position as well. For some reason, Kimo deciding to not eat those giraffe. When the giraffes spawn, you can just push them over the towns and to delete them all, grab some villagers, right-click onto, hold shift, right-click onto all the giraffe, and then right-click back onto the farms, and you're not going to have to worry about those going idle. They're just going to have a boosted food income for a small amount of effort. But Kimo using those in his army instead. As do we see any? We do see the market up, so Kimo might even be going for a Mythic Age timing of some variety, but there's no timing here. Hephaestus is in so early for Rapl. He gets himself out the Plenty Vault. He's going to be getting himself out a Bellerophon here, I imagine, incredibly shortly. He's getting himself the Forge of Olympus. That's a lot of villagers onto the temple here to make Colossus. Colossus are going to be a very, very tough unit for Kimo to deal with in this game, especially if he decides, and he's got the Pegasus already in position to jump onto this town center, but he could just use those units, especially with combination of the Bellerophon, to literally just win this army. Do we see a Bellerophon coming out? Not just yet. I think this is a bit of a mistake from Rapl to rush out Forge of Olympus here. I don't think it's that important. More important would be the Bellerophon, more Colossus, and all of that. You can get that Forge of Olympus at any point, but Rapl's got so many resources, and he's going to have such a crazy big attack coming. Fortress coming down on this position. The villagers over on this gold mine, kind of getting away with a lot being on this gold mine right now, as Kimo is taking out a house over here. He's got the Migdol stronghold on this position as well there. As Kimo, he has to retreat back now. Those units are very, very scary for him. Kimo at this point, he is going up through Horus. No real surprises there. Thoth, I mean, if the game's going to go super hyper late game and you know that it's going to go hyper late game, maybe Thoth is the better call, but at least Horus gives you access to the Avengers, which might be able to deal with those Colossus to some degree. Do we see any upgrades? Yes, we do see Funeral Rites coming through here for Kimo. Very, very smart to grab that one straight away here as the siege towers retreating back. We do see the fortresses coming up over here as well. And Rapl here with the Silver Colossus already. Part of me feels like the Silver Colossus, look at the upgrade here. It costs 300 wood, right? That's the cheap amount. But the 20 favor, that's the finite amount of resources. The Colossus only costs 25 favor. Part of me feels like that upgrade you don't really want to get until you have 3 or 4 Colossus out. The reason being is it's just so much better to have more Colossus than not, as there's the Underworld Passage coming in onto this position. The Tornado going to come down immediately, and Rapl just says, no worries. I'm just going to retreat. You can use Tornado there. This is completely fine. There's still ceasefire remaining. There's still a whole bunch of very, very strong units remaining here for Rapl. He doesn't need that Underworld to push forward, but this game here, without that Underworld, without that Tornado, that's all the power spikes remaining. And with the exception of Ancestors, which is these god powers can stay for the rest of the game as far as I'm concerned. You do not need to utilize that ceasefire at all here. But the one thing that Kimo's got, and the one thing that he's done really well, is he's got a trade route. He's got all of this map control, but he hasn't got the walls up just yet to kind of restrict the movement. Let's look at these Myrmidon moving forward. I remember watching in the chat, there's people who say, you know what, Myrmidon, they're not that strong for some point. If Rapl just literally has them attack here. Myrmidon, they're not very strong. Myrmidon are so strong. These units doing 14 damage, times plus 50%, meaning they're doing 21 damage a second. That's seven damage a population slot, which is insane. They're really, really strong. Though the counter to Myrmidon for set is always going to be the Axeman, and you do need to be concerned about those Axemen. Now, my contention, as always, is that the best kind of composition you want to be going for as Zeus, as Greek, in most late game situations, is going to be some version of Colossus, Myrmidon, Colossus, Heliopolis, Toxotes. But we aren't seeing that just yet from Rapl. He's trying to push through, and these Myrmidon are not quite going to be cutting it here in this game as Ancestors gets dropped down. I'm surprised to see no ceasefire here from Rapl. He's at 140 population. Kimo over here, 160 population. He's getting set up over here. We do see a cheeky fortress coming up on this position. There's a couple of spearmen are queued up, but no population space just yet there for these players. Is Rapl going to be retreating back ever so slightly here? As the chariots of Kimo have kind of met their they can't really push through here is the big thing. It's like, where are you going to find another push? As now we see Kimo, he started this trade route. It's absolutely huge. 99 gold a trip here. No Pharaoh on that just yet, but this trade route is so big. And the question is, will Kimo be able to get himself, with this kind of a play, will Kimo be able to get himself fully upgraded units? He's only at full bronze at the moment compared to Rapl, who's going to be... He's only at full bronze as well, in all honesty. Did I say bronze? I meant full copper. Full copper here versus full bronze. Obviously, Rapl here very shortly will be able to get himself those iron upgrades out as the game progresses. As the fortress is up over here. I'd love to see some more walls getting set up from Rapl. This is one of those things that, I mean, in a perfect world, you're going to be doing these sorts of things, but when there's so much going on, it's one of those extra level of RTS skill to some degree. It's not even skill, but it's just like attention to detail is getting the walls up at every moment you possibly can to restrict the amount of map control your opponent has. And the more you can get them up, the faster you can do that, the kind of easier your games are generally going to be. As now we do see the Rapl Toxotes starting to move forward, the Heliopolis coming out, the army pushing in onto this position as well. The upgrades here for Kimo are really, really good with the architects and everything else, but the Zeus army is going to start making its push through here because look at this. Kimo, he's at 150 population. He can't even support the production that he's going for right now. Is he still building? He is still building some camel caravans, but that's the only amount of 100 food every 14 seconds or something. Isn't that big at this point? He just can't support this. Is he getting himself armory upgrades here? Yes, he is getting those armory upgrades through, so he is spending the resources where that's concerned, as these priests, even with funeral rites, are kind of tickling the Colossus here. And Rapl as well is going to start sniping those priests down with his own Toxotes here nicely. Another option would be to just move in onto this gold mine and start eating that gold mine if he wants to, as the Migdol stronghold on this position is going to get targeted down. And where next for Kimo? Once he loses this position, we do see another Migdol stronghold coming up, and the Colossus does indeed decide to eat this this gold mine. And when a Colossus is eating a gold mine versus Egyptian, that's it. That's it. And you can't kill it, as the Migdol stronghold does end up getting finished. And Kimo going to continue to get pushed back here. So you do see a guard tower coming up onto this position here for Kimo as he's desperately trying to hold on. He does have 160 population at this point. And look at this. He's murking from his main base. But these mercenary cavalry, by the time they start attacking, they're already basically dead on this position. They're getting off just a handful of attacks. before they end up falling in these fights, and it's just not going to do all too much. But the fact that he's able to start pumping these out right now, I mean, he needs to get a Pharaoh onto this trade route to really be able to afford to do that. But this is a standard Ra idea, not set idea, but the standard Ra idea, which is go up to something like 40 camel caravans and utilize that 40 population you have in economy to make yourself those mercenary cavalry, of which you can build, how many mercenary are here? Max 8 mercenary cavalry. These mercenary cavalry are worth about 3 population, even though they cost 0 population. They're worth about 3 population. The mercenary infantry are worth, what is it? You get 12 of these and they're worth 2 population. So 24 plus 24, basically. It's 44 population. So 40 camel caravans for 44 population worth of military units. It ends up equaling itself out to some degree. But that only really comes to pass when you have Medjai, which is the upgrade which allows those mercenary to stay alive for 60 seconds, because it allows you to kind of merc halfway across the map and still have 30 seconds of HP left, which is round about how long a unit lives for in some degree, as Rapl does break through here. Now, the one thing that Rapl hasn't done just yet, and this might be his undoing, is he has not secured this corner to start a trade route for himself. He needs to get that started to some degree here in this game. His units just are not falling in any degree. He has not secured this corner after all of this has happened. All of this control over here, all of this attacking has gone through, and he is just focused on this one position. And if Kimo wants, he can start sneaking through here, securing that corner, and making life very difficult for Rapl moving forward in this position. And we'll see how it's all going to go. Kimo over here. Has he gotten fully upgraded units yet? Has he been able to afford it? No. He still can't even get himself iron shields in this game after all of the economy that he has spent here. All the economy he has, excuse me. Let's take a look at the actual income for a hot second here. I love doing this. Look at the civilian unit count here for Kimo. He's at 110, which means he's got about 30 camel caravan thus far. If you put the Pharaoh onto the market there, you're looking at something like 36 camel caravan to some degree, well, effective camel caravan at this point for the gold income that Kimo can have. But he's utilizing that Pharaoh on the front to try and take out the gold Colossus. Obviously a decent idea, but as soon as I see a Pharaoh, I just right click on that Pharaoh with some archers, and that's going to die very, very fast. 160 HP with 38% pierce armor. That's not a whole lot, as the Colossus is going to be retreating up to this top position. Very low HP, 54 HP here. Going to run for the gold mine, as the villagers, they do get to turn around. They managed to take that gold Colossus out. Nice play there from Kimo. Good awareness as the gold Colossus. Will it be able to get onto this gold mine? Yes, it does, as it's going to be eating this one up, taking that away from Kimo and getting that Colossus back up to full HP, as Rapl continuing to eat trees and everything else here. Is Rapl struggling for resources? He isn't struggling. I'm surprised he's doing this, in all honesty. This is 5 population unit not doing anything, and he could just rebuild that unit, in all honesty, as we do see some Heliopolis coming in onto the bottom of this map right now. A market does end up coming down here for Rapl. He needs to get this wall up over here, as the catapult getting taken out. Villagers coming through to shank down on that position. In all honesty, I mean, there's really not that much gold left on the map here for Rapl. This gold mine, basically it. I mean, he's got this one over here that he's eating to some degree, but I mean, he's really not got that much gold left in this game. And this is, like I said, this is going to be the downfall of Rapl if he doesn't get that trade route started. As we see some towers coming up on this position to break through over here. Dealing with mercenary cavalry is a great way here. Great way to deal with mercenary cavalry is the towers, especially towers with crenellations, which Rapl does not yet have, but I'm sure he's going to be investing into that very, very shortly here, as his trade route definitely needs to start up. Does he have any trade route at all? He does have a handful of donkey caravans, or I say a handful. He's got 1 donkey caravan created at this point. As the Rapl unit's retreating back, he does have the advantage in this fight with the Toxotes, as he pulls these axemen over onto this position with the gold Colossus still searching around. This Colossus now up to full HP. Might decide to break through these walls and try and get in onto that trade route. There's not a bad idea in the slightest here. As the towers coming through here for Rapl are going to put an end to any sort of mercenary shenanigery here from Kimo. It's one of the reasons why these sorts of like mass trade route into mercenary kind of, it's not died off, but it stopped being so absurdly effective, is because people realize, well, I'll tell you what else is free population. Guard towers. Towers are free population. Does he have crenellations yet? Now he does. Guard towers are free population, and they're actually worth around about, I think I worked it out to be around about 5 population worth of archers sitting here doing damage. Plus, if they're against cavalry, that doubles up to 10 population worth of archers. Absolutely insane. As the donkey caravans now starting up here for Rapl. He's got a lot of food in the bank. He can sell food for a little bit, but there's not a whole lot left in there. Rapl needs to get that trade route sorted, but I mean, he can get it started very, very fast with 4 markets producing here. You get one camel or donkey caravan every 14 seconds, which is obviously going to be very, very fast with 4 of them. So over a minute, you're getting something like 16 donkey caravans out. So basically in a minute, you can fix that gold income very, very nicely, but you do have to spend those resources. And he does have the food there to spend them as the... This is what we were talking about with the Kimo walls. He's displaying the Kimo walls. We do see some villagers have tried to sneak through here, but they don't get the military academies up, as this gold colossus has got a lot of markets to take out to stop this trade route, but he's going to be attempting to do so. As the fortress over here actually did get picked off. I'm surprised that actually ended up happening. Rapl needs to get his Colossus to target down these siege towers. The Colossus is very, very good at taking out siege weapons. With 50 crush damage, the siege towers, they've got 89% crush, but they've also, the Colossus also does 20 hack. So it's like, it's doing a lot of damage to those siege towers over the course of the game. So you do see the Colossus now moving over onto this wood line. There is still this gold mine here, which Rapl is basically decided not to grab. I think that Rapl could afford to take villagers off of food here to some degree. Doesn't really need to have 22 villagers on food and just chuck them up to that gold mine in the corner. So we do see the axeman coming through here is Kimo. This is what makes Kimo good. He's always putting pressure on, and Rapl is having a little bit of kind of a mind blip to some degree, not getting the wall up on this position to re-defend this location. Kimo might send some villagers up and reclaim this once held location that Rapl put so much effort into putting a stop to, as we do see an Avenger coming through here. This is a great unit here to take out the enemy Colossus. Does where is it? It also kills off Toxotes fairly well though. Fully upgraded, full iron Toxotes. I mean, it's okay, but really the best use of the Avenger is to take out the Colossus over here. Do we see another fortress is up anywhere? No fortress up on this position, as we do see some villagers coming through to throw some towers down. I really would like to see that fortress up on that position, as we do see the Bellerophon is out. One temple has been taken out. Does Kimo have his upgrade? Yes, he does. He's got Axe of Vengeance. That's a great idea. Axe of Vengeance, Axeman, very, very strong. We see Secrets of the Titans coming through, and this is where Kimo's idea is coming. Kimo's idea is that if he gets enough trade route, enough economy in front of his opponent, I mean, at this point, I think that Rapl would still be in front on economy. Is that true? No, Kimo is well and truly in front, which means he's going to be able to get himself those Titans out, potentially even get himself a Wonder out. So Kimo's idea here isn't to necessarily win this game by murking. It's to try and sneak out this Titan and maybe something after that. As the village is getting into shanking over there, as I think Rapl lost a house there as well. He needs to get that one back up. So here we see the Colossus coming into, yet again, eat another gold mine. Question is, how is Rapl's economy going moving forward here? as he builds some more hoplites out to deal with these towers. I think that because there's no... Well, the towers are coming up now. You don't really ever want to build cavalry in the late game just because towers are a possibility. But my idea here was maybe some cavalry to deal with this. But definitely continuing to build mostly Toxotes here. I don't think you really need the Myrmidon. Toxotes, Colossus, Fortress. Obviously, he needs to kind of have some units out for the time being while his trade is coming through. But we do see that Rapl has taken villages off of food while this is all going on, as the Titan Age does come in here for Kimo, as he's going to be getting that Titan Gate up. And Rapl is going to think, okay, what next here? How do I deal with the Titan Age if I've got no economy? He's still pumping out these donkey caravans. He could probably slow down on this. I imagine he's probably pushed up to around about 20 donkey caravans by now. His gold income's probably completely fine. He's got a lot of wood in the bank while this game is going on. Meanwhile, walls coming up over here onto this location as well from Kimo. Very, very nice idea here from Kimo to lock that location in, as the walls coming up over here to make that work. As well as the Toxotes versus Priest here, it seems, as the Toxotes is probably going to lose. He doesn't have a whole lot of HP remaining. And both die at the same time. Love to see it. As you do see an Avenger coming in to try and deal with this. The walls just... He breaks one wall down and Kimo just rebuilds that wall. I mean, that's the nature of Age mythology, I guess. As the Colossus continuing to break through here. And now this is, again, this is where it becomes really tough for the set player to deal with this, is if these Colossus, I mean, he's just got to micro the Colossus a bit better to take out those siege towers, focus the siege towers down, stop building hoplites, get Toxotes out here, and these Petrobolos are going to be very, very strong on this position. But now the siege towers pushing through, going to attempt to take out some guard towers here is going to be a big, big problem as well, as the Avenger comes through to take out the Gold Colossus on this position as well. As a tower up over here, more walls coming down onto this position there. And Rapl at this point, he's got a very small amount of economy right now. He is building villages out of one town center to try and get himself a little bit more economy going, but he is, I mean, he's got a... I don't really know. All of his villages, it seems, 22 villages right now on the front line, spamming towers here to get these up. We'll see if he's going to be able to survive the Titan running around the map, causing problems for him. Yes, he is Greek, and Greek is the best civilization to deal with an enemy Titan without your own Titan. But that being said, you still need a lot of economy going to deal with it, because that Titan is just going to waltz straight into your base, take your town centers down, take your farms down, make your life very, very tough. As more towers coming up onto this position, obviously Kimo is going to probably send his Titan straight at this position and kill all of these towers in a very, very quick moment here, as Mercenaries still spamming out onto this position. Chariot Archers holding nicely. We do see the Colossus over here will get sniped down there finally, as the units continuing to break through here. Odysseus is coming in to try and deal with that enemy Avenger, as another Colossus going to be moving in onto this position. More villagers getting taken out here to boot, as the Titan 75% of the way through. What else is happening here? We see some more walls coming up on the top, as Kimo, like I said, is going to claim this position back after all of that advantage that Rapl had Rapl maybe put some walls up and claimed this position that he worked so hard for, this would have been a lot harder for Kimo to just walk back in and secure. As Rapl breaking through here, he's got a handful of Petrobolos taking down these buildings. The big thing that Egyptian does have going for it is that Egyptian's repairing ability is insane. Now, Rapl does have the Bellerophon. All you got to do is target down a Pharaoh. And the other thing you can do, if you know, let's move into Rappel's perspective here. If you know that there's a Pharaoh empowering this, grab one Petropolis, right-click the Pharaoh, and have the rest attack the Migdol stronghold. It's going to not kill the Pharaoh, but it'll distract the Pharaoh, and you'll be able to kill that Migdol stronghold much better, as the Petrobolos have now started to focus down the town center. The Titan is out, however, for Kimo, as Kimo now is still 160 population. He's still he's not even pumping out the mercenary here either, as the town center is getting targeted down. The Pharaoh empowering yet again. You have to stop that Pharaoh empowering if you want to kill the town center. I say it once, I say it a million times. This is the reason the town center doesn't go down. It's the Pharaoh, and it's every civilization, with even Atlantean a little bit tougher, but every civilization has got a great answer to the Pharaoh. You get the Chariot Archer, you get the Arcus, you got the Petrobolos with the range, you got the Ballista. You just have to target it down with one of those units. But even though that's the case, the town center here of Kimo does look like it's going down with a metric shit ton of Petrobolos here, Petropoli, I should say, as the town center falls, but the Titan is now in the game, ready to start looking in here. Is Rapl going for his own Titan here? No, he's going to just continue making Gold Colossus, Petrobolos, and the like, as the town center is going to get shot straight back up after all of that effort. It ends up amounting to nothing here, ladies and gentlemen. And this is something that I talk about a little bit with regards to why Norse is so weak. It's because if Norse lost that town center, game over right then and there. But Egyptian losing that town center, Greek losing that town center, even Atlantean losing that town center to some degree, they can get that one back up. As the Titan going to try and break through here. I'm surprised to see Rapl still trying to break this down. Over here, we do see a very cheeky villager positioning here. He could start putting some military buildings down in that position there to cause some problems. Villagers shanking down fortified walls there as well, as we do see the Bellerophon is in. The Titan already down 1,000 HP here, ladies and gentlemen. Rapl here, plenty of gold in the bank, making Heliopolis out to try and deal with these Titans. He needs more fortresses here, though, if he wants to continue that Heliopolis spammage to deal with this Titan, as the Titan here not exactly sure what it needs to do in this position. Kimo, on the other hand here, decent amount of resources at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised to see him looking to drop a wonder in this position anytime soon. I would not be surprised in the slightest, as Kimo's Titan going to decide, you know what's better than attacking through this location here? What if I move up to here where you've got nothing? Or what if I push through here where you've got not a whole lot? Now, if we take a look at Rapl's perspective here, what has he got over here? He's got the one fortress. He needs a couple more fortresses down to build Heliopolis up on the top position there. If he gets that going, he's going to have he's going to be in for a good time here. As the Titan leaves, this will allow Rapl to break through on this location, because there's just not that much population remaining here for Kimo. But Rapl does need to track that Titan with the Bellerophon. That is 100% certain there. But he doesn't have to do it straight away. He can actually delete the Bellerophon and rebuild it out of this town center if he so chooses, as well, as that's exactly where Kimo's Titan is headed. I love that idea from Kimo. He's just saying, no, I'm not going to go through your Heliopolis. I'm not going to go through all your walls. I'm going to be going for your naked town center at the top, as we're starting to see Jason coming through. He does have all these upgrades and everything. And do we see anything coming out over here? Not just yet, as Odysseus is already in, getting a little bit of damage done. Look at how little the damage is. It's, what, 6 damage a shot, as the Titan's starting to wander forward there as well. Rapl's retreating back ever so slightly as more mercenary cavalry coming in. Needs to get those towers back up to deal with said mercenary cavalry. Like we were saying, it's very, very important. Villagers coming through to throw some towers down. Also equally important, Kimo going to be dropping his Titan back here. This is such a weird usage of the Titan in this game. I've never seen this used. Normally you just say go, 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 because it's just such a huge amount of population to be sinking into that unit there, as we do see the towers coming up onto this position, as Rapl has got nothing up here to really defend this. Absolutely love that play from Kimo, as Kimo bringing the Titan back. He's literally just idling it. What is the plan? What is the plan here from Kimo? I mean, I don't see anything other than a wonder being the idea here, where would he place it? He could place it here. He could place it back in this corner here. Lots of different options as the tower's coming up over on this location here. Rapl probably, simply put, he could just build a Petrobolos out and he'd be able to deal with this fairly simply. But he's still trying to break through on this location here. In the late game, this is the hardest part. Well, not the hardest part of Age of Mythology, but this is possibly the least explored part of Age of Mythology for most players. The reason being is that is that you just don't get to the late game very often, so you don't get to practice that. You don't get to have those eureka moments and say, oh, I need to do this, oh, I need to do this. And Kimo, arguably with the most experience in Age of Mythology out of anyone, also playing Ra as his main god, having a lot more opportunity to enter the late game. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and Kimo at this point decides it's wonder time, baby, as he's going to be chucking this one down. 38 minutes into the game, Pharaoh on the Empower option here as well. With the Titan out, this is not the position I would have put the Wonder up in at all, but he decides to go for it here. There's not really a good position. I mean, over here, if Rapl can get into here, this is a great position to start attacking this. Alternatively, breaking through all of these walls is another option, as well as the Titan going to be returning back over onto this position as the Petrobolos are all out here trying to break this down with the Pharaoh not able to empower the Wonder, having to come over here and defend the town center here. We'll see how it's going to go. The Titan here starting to get targeted down by the Petrobolos on this position as well. The towers are up, and Kimo here in a very, very big problem following up in this game. 5,000 HP remaining as the Titan going to try and break in, take out these towers yet again. As the Bellerophon jumps back in onto the Titan, does miss said Titan there as the Titan going to come through onto this location here. Rapl here, he is still making Petrobolos. Now the Titan's back, he needs to stop the Petrobolos and cue Heliopolis here, but retreating back with those Petrobolos to try and keep them alive. They're very, very low HP siege units, so they die very, very quick to a Titan as another Gold Colossus coming in. Titan getting absolutely mowed down at this point. Meanwhile, still more units coming in onto this top position here as Rapl needs to both defend this town center and stop this Wonder victory from coming. And deal with the Titan here. There's so much here that Rapl has got to deal with. As Kimo, on the other hand, he can just distract to some degree. He doesn't actually need to do anything but distract, and that's what he's doing here as best as he can as the Petrobolos continue trying to break through this town center. Look at all of those Petrobolos coming in. The Pharaoh still empowering, and again, I say one Petrobolos here targeting down said Pharaoh. All it needs to do is clip the Pharaoh, and that stops the empowerment. Yes, the Pharaoh can then right-click onto the town center again, but you could also use the Odysseus as a great unit there. 18 range, right-click onto that Pharaoh. All you got to do is distract the Pharaoh from its job, and you're going to be completely fine with the damage that Titan is sustaining here as the Petrobolos are all smoking that one down. Kimo not paying attention here at the moment. The towers absolutely massacring the Titan. Maybe Kimo just wants to lose the Titan, but he should just take out those towers in here as the option. As Bellerophon comes in, Rapl going to be pulling his Petrobolos back as well. I mean, if the Titan is moving, these Petrobolos do kind of miss, unfortunately. So it might be a better option to just allow a Petrobolos to take damage there. As the Titan going to be able to finish up this town center. We're still seeing the push coming through over here with a Migdol stronghold coming up. Rapl still not reacting over here. He's only got 12 villagers on wood, though he could buy a whole bunch of wood here. He's got 4,000 gold in the bank. Not a problem there to buy some wood at this point to keep going as the Titan does finally fall here. This will open up Kimo's population considerably here, though. Well, by 20 to be precise. So Kimo's going to be able to do just that little bit more moving forward as the catapult starting to push in onto this location here. Migdol stronghold coming up here for Kimo, and this is where Nightmare starts here for Rapl. He needs to defend this position. He needs to clean this up. He doesn't have anything over here. In fact, Rapl is actually sending units that he wanted to be over on this position here over to this location. I think he clicked the idle military banner and sent them there, as now it looks like Rapl did realize what happened there. He's going to move that Colossus back over onto this position here to try and defend. We do see Heracles and Odysseus queued up, but Town Center is on the way down right now. As look at the Petrobolos spam from Rapl trying to take this Town Center down. He is not playing around that Pharaoh strength of Egyptian at all. He's just saying, I've got 16 Petrobolis and I can't. And he kills the town center. He kills the town center. Great play there, but he's going to be losing his own town center over here soon, though. The Colossus is going to be enough to start cleaning those catapults up, though it is dying relatively fast here, so long as Rapl pays attention here to the said Colossus. As we see some walls coming up and the town center is still going down. Bellerophon on the way through there, as well as Rapl here. He wants to click ceasefire. He's got ceasefire here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget it. He's got ceasefire in this game to grab the town center, keep his own town center alive, as Bellerophon is out, going to jump into the fight straight away, sniping down some villagers. The town center is now down for Rapl here, as the villagers coming through to try and grab the town center themselves, and still not getting that one up. Now the villagers get it up. Now the villagers get it up. There they go. Ceasefire still not going to get clicked here for Rapl. He wants to ensure that he's got that town center for himself there. There it goes. Town center coming up. This one's going to be able to get rebuilt as well. There he goes with that one. Rapple's going to be 4 town centers to 2 town centers. However, there is still the wonder to be thinking about here, as Kimo going to start putting walls up everywhere. And the question is 5 villages enough to get a town center up in a minute? I think so. I think so. I'm not 100% sure. There's the wonder coming up here for Kimo. Rapl up the other side of the map here. 140 population. He's about to jump straight up to 180 population. He needs to get units through here and clean this up. This is his first priority. He's got security of this town center as well. So that's going to be completely fine, though he has to deal with all those siege towers here that are surrounding his town center. But he needs to get this all cleared up as fast as he possibly can. Do we see anything coming out of this fortress? No, we do not. As the siege towers are going to immediately start targeting this down. Will they be able to clean the town center up or not is the big question, as the villagers are going to be repairing it up as best as they can. Basically just siege here and villagers for Rapl, as the town center surrounded by siege towers is just doing so much damage. 2 siege towers, well, the town center is now down. Rapl not going to be able to hold this one here for the time being, as we are still seeing the town center over here getting targeted down, but 1 Bellerophon out here going to be enough to deal with the catapults for the time being. With that jump special is going to be enough. Rapl still needs to push in with that Colossus that he built over there, as the village is going to come back in. He's cleaned up all of the siege that was out here, going to try and get this one down. We do see a catapult is in here for Kimo. He's going to be attempting to hold for as long as he possibly can in this game, as the walls getting torn down. This town center still under attack, as Rapl he needs a little bit more population. I guess he could delete some camel caravan or donkey caravans here as well as an option, as the catapults breaking through over here, taking down those baluster towers, opening this location up. Another thing here that Rapl probably needs is a ton more villagers to just send forward and build buildings here, so that he doesn't get pushed back ever, as another very, very important part of this forward movement. He doesn't necessarily need the town center up immediately here, as those Avengers coming through causing a lot of problems here for Rapl's villagers as well. Is Rapl building villagers out? He's only building villagers out of one town center here, as the Myrmidon sneaking through here to take out some of those catapults. The Gold Colossus is here as well, can start taking down the ballista towers on that position as well. We do see some axemen coming through here to try and deal with everything that's going on here as well. All the villagers on the front there for Rapl have been taken out, as he doesn't have anything else remaining here. We do see more buildings falling on this position as well, as the Bellerophon swings in, take down these ballista and sort that one out as well. Meanwhile, Petrobolos breaking down all those barracks and everything else that's going on this position here, as Rapl, he needs to get some more heroes onto this position, and he needs some siege through here. Just a Petrobolos or two would not go astray to clean this up, but Kimo is doing a great job of really spreading Rapl thin in this game. Rapl has got 5 villagers on food. He's got 7 villagers on wood. He's got tons of gold, which he can utilize to buy some stuff here. But the problem is that Rapl, he just doesn't have the villagers to make this work. Now he's building some villagers, but he's on a timer. He's got 6 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in this game, as the champion Toxotes is coming in to try and deal with those axemen. The Axe of Vengeance technology only gives bonus versus building, so those Heliopolis are only taking 8.5 damage a second from those champion axemen. With all of the HP they've got, it's just never going to be a thing, as we do see the Pharaoh coming in, chucking some towers down over here as well, as the town center going to attempt to go back up, but catapults are in here for Kimo. That's never going to be a point of contention here. Another option for Rapl would be to come through this position here, or even start chopping down this location here to break in onto this wonder. Would be a great way forward for Rapl if he just sends villagers in here to start chopping this down. He could break through this wood line definitely with, say, 20 villages. You could break down this wood line before, within maybe, I guess, 3 minutes to open up a location into this position and then get onto that wonder. Alternatively, just getting in onto this position would be enough, because then he can target down the wonder from far there. As a temple coming up on the front now for Rapl, as he's realizing, where are my Colossus? Colossus are really good against Set, and he's not building him at this point on the front here, as we see the catapult returning back onto this town center yet again, as Rapl has not dealt with this problem that he has let manifest into a huge thorn in his side in this game. Kimo continuing to target this town center down. Rapl not paying attention at this point here. He finally starts repairing this one back up, but 3 catapults coming in here. We do see this town center is going to be attempting to get thrown up on this position, but 1 catapult is more than enough to slow this town center down to a complete stop here. He's got himself 11 villagers on the front that he could build the town center up, as his town center over here does end up falling there, and this is going to make life very, very tough for Rapl moving forward, as the Heliopolis continuing to break in onto this position. Towers coming up all over the place here for Kimo, as he's desperately trying to hold on. He's still making mercenary onto this position. We see siege towers coming in. Town center on the way here, very, very slowly, as we see a fortress coming up. No catapults are in just yet for Kimo to slow this town center down, but that 1 siege tower could roll in and stop the town center where that's concerned. But not only that, now Kimo has got a complete pathway to come in and attempt to take this town center for himself here, ladies and gentlemen. But Rapl is not putting any effort into defending up on that side there, as Kimo somehow, some way making his way forward. He's got no economy himself at this point. Look at this, 137, 145 populate. He's got nothing. He's got nothing in the bank right now. He's only got he's got 19 villagers on food, 2 villagers on wood at this moment, and a metric shit ton of camel caravans moving at 91 gold a trip, which is a very, very big amount, as we do see the Bellerophon going to come in, attempt to deal with these units. The villagers coming through to attempt to rebuild or build this town center for himself, as Rapl's idea here might be get the town center up over here first and then try and get the town center back over here. But I'm not sure that that's quite going to be enough for for Rapl to find a win here, as we see a baluster tower coming up here to control this location. The Bellerophon also slowly but surely getting taken down over there as well. Town center still attempting to come back up now with 10 villagers here. We'll see if Rapl can get this one up or not, as the siege towers making their way through. That's going to be able to roll onto the town center. That's going to stop the town center coming back up yet again, as the walls of Kimo are set up, and these Colossus trying to break through here are just never going to make it. Take a look over at this position though. It's completely open. Absolutely open. Look at Rapl's, look at Kimo's perspective here. He wouldn't know. He wouldn't know until the units start pushing through over here if they're just this big long line of Colossus just walking in to take that wonder down over on the other side here. He wouldn't know, but Rapl, he hasn't thought about that in this game. Obviously, we've got omniscience, so we know, but Rapl going to continue to break through trying to attempt to break through the most defended area here. 3 minutes left in this game here with that wonder, as the buildings getting broken down in Rapl's main base. Losing houses here is a really, really big problem. And finally, after all is said and done, one Heliopolis coming in. This would have been a gigantic advantage here for Rapl to clean this position up, but just not happening, as the Heliopolis are out on this position here, going to try and break through. Another option here would have been utilizing the Colossus to eat through these trees if he loses enough HP over there. Obviously, he's got to somehow walk from this location all the way around, which might be a little bit challenging, but he could have eaten the trees or something there as well, as the Heliopolis going to break down the baluster tower. Bellerophon trying to help defend that position by himself there, well, with the assistance of a Colossus, as the town center still attempting to come up here, not able to get that one up, as Rapl says, I've just got to win this off 2 town centers here, it seems, as the Colossus breaking through. Another option would be kill this barracks and wander through here. Or even just wander around wouldn't be a bad idea. Obviously, he wants to open this up for potentially Petrobolos to try and break down the wonder, but we'll have to wait and see if he's going to be able to get through in time or not. Rapl still, he's at 120 or 120 population. He's got his houses back up. Can't get this town center up just yet. I mean, there's no siege here, so he could attempt to send some villagers forward en masse and try and build this one back up. Say, send 20 villagers forward or something like that. As the wall's still up, 1 minute 40 seconds remaining for Kimo's wonder in this game, as the town center getting built back up. More Heliopolis rolling in over here, but this siege tower going to break down the fortress as well, stop the town center from going up. Priests holding here beautifully as well, as the Heliopolis finally starting to clean this position up. But is it too little too late with 1 minute 25 seconds left? Does Rapl have any ideas left in the tank here, as he sees the villagers over here on this position? Kimo here still 140 of 140 population, pumping mercenary cavalry out of the hometown center, pushing over here to try and defend as best as he possibly can. But the real question is, has Rapl hit that point in the game where it's just he can't think anymore? There's nothing left for him to think. He's just 52 minutes of straight gaming is a lot of gaming for one individual. And in that moment, Rapl, with 53 seconds left on the timer, decides there's no hope left here for him to take it out. And he does decide to tap out. And somehow, some way, Kimo manages to find a victory in this game with Set against Zeus. You can see the challenges that Set is presented with in this matchup, but Kimo, he had a plan. He wanted to take the game late game. He wanted to win with wonder. I think that was always going to be the idea here from Kimo, is on Oasis, Set versus Zeus. He's got no real good opportunity here to get any sort of timing attack out, and he just says, all right, Titan, wonder, delay, harass, all the other good stuff. If the one thing here that Rapl desperately needs to add to his game plan is when you secure a part of the map, secure that part of the map with walls and buildings before you leave. This is vitally important. Otherwise, your opponent, while defending a different position over here, while your opponent is defending here, they can invest 2 population. They can invest 4 population into rebuilding up this location, and this causing this problem for him in the late game. That one mistake from Rapl here is what allowed Kimo all of this play in this game. And I mean, credit where credit's due. Kimo finding the win here. Very, very nice play. Rapl also showing a very, very nice strategy here from Zeus, and a big reason why the classical fight of set, even off of 3 town centers, can be very difficult to make work. But Kimo gets the dub. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.